Well, this is part 2 of the Burger Time stencil, and you might see some missing video, and that's because I might have deleted some files. So this is where we're at. Right now we're going to do red. We're going to do the P for the pepper, we're going to do the bands around the arm, but now I have a better camera, so you can kind of see a little better. But yeah, looking good, man. Let me go around here and kind of show you the back. But, well, let's get started. Okay, so let's put this stencil on. Now, there are these marks right here, these little Pac-Man dots that were left on from the very first stencil. Okay, and this stencil isn't exactly see-through, so what I did is I ripped out a section on the front, and I ripped out a section on the back, all around, so I can line up the Pac-Man marks. That way, you know, every single color is perfectly straight with the notches on the game. So, let's get started here. Okay, I'll get mine lined up, you get yours lined up. Mine's close. Are you getting close?
I need to get more louder. Yeah, mine's dead on.
You need to come my way. How's yours? Is it dead on?
Close.
Okay. Okay, hold it right here. I'm going to peel off the backing. Now I was a little torn on which color red to use on this because the red on Burger Time fades pretty good. And so there's different like variants of red that people are using, and I think I picked the best one. I mean, it's hard to tell because who has a Burger Time that's not faded red? The red's not faded. But I think I got it. It's a little brighter than, because obviously it had to have been brighter. But you'll see the color I spray in a minute here. Okay. Yeah. The material this stencil is made out of is not my favorite material, but we got it. Okay, I got this marks pretty much dead on. I wish I hadn't lost some of that video, but you guys get the idea. It's pretty much rinse, wash, repeat on every color. Hearing something, Billy? You got it? Okay. You want to make sure that you don't rip off any of the areas here behind the stencil, because it's easy to. Okay, now let's get the backing material off. I like to get as dead on as I can, but in reality, they They didn't make the stencils dead on, but I like to get as best as I can. But let me rip this off, and you guys get the idea. Okay, we got one side done, and I still have to do something about the bottom. Let me cover it up, and all the Pac-Man marks are now covered, so I don't get any spray, you know, on the Pac-Man marks. Kind of have it. I'm not going to go too crazy with the masking because I'm going to spray at an angle where I'm not worried about it. But still have to do all the black inside. I got to sand it again. And right here we took out the Pac-Man marks on this side. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. We're gonna mask it off, and let's do some painting. Okay, the color I'm using is Regal Red by Rust-Oleum. You know, basically all I have to go off of is pictures online and other people's reproduction, like stickers and stuff. And from what I could see, this is the closest, or as far as I'm concerned, the exact match of what was on there. It's really tough to tell because all burger times are faded now. So I don't know. So I got some of these pinballs, you know, covered up with some blankets there, so I don't ruin them. You know, I want to get the overspray. I think I'm going to do 2 coats. It's not covering as good as I'd like it to. You don't want to go too crazy on your first coat because you'll make runs, you know what I mean? Well, that's the first coat on the first side. Let me turn this sucker around. Okay. Let's do this side. I think that's a good match. Okay, let's let that sit for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then I'll do the second coat. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's do the second coat. This should be it. That's coming in nice now. That's what I wanted to see. Yeah, you guys get the idea. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. I'm letting it sit in front of the fan for a while. I'm gonna probably do maybe 15 minutes per side, and then we're gonna go ahead and take that stencil off. While we're waiting for burger time to dry, I figured I'd show you a side project I'm doing. This is the paper bezel for a dedicated Major Havoc, and it's beat. Yeah, it can't be used. So I ended up laying this down and cutting out and making a whole new cardboard bezel, which is right here, and looks great. It looks beautiful. I actually made two. I have one here. This is my buddy's dedicated Major Havoc, and that's my Major Havoc. And yeah, see, I actually spray painted this. It's actually a white. I used double-sided tape to hold it together, which was a great idea. This stuff is strong. Looks great. Well, back to burger time. Before I peel this off, I already have some red on my fingers here, but I'm going to get my one clean finger and I'm going to touch it kind of firm. And if you have nothing left on your finger after you touch it, then you know it's ready to take a stencil off. Okay, the first thing I do is, this is slightly tacky, so I don't want the overlay to stick onto it. If you're worried about the stencil sticking on your paint, then wait till it's completely dry. But this is, for the most part, dry, slightly tacky. But make sure, if you're going to do it while it's a hair tacky, make sure you take off all this extra junk so nothing will fall on there. And I like to use a buddy, someone with me when I take a stencil off, because I usually take it off when it's a little tacky. You know what I mean? But if you're worried about that, wait till it's completely dry. That way you don't have to worry about anything touching. But the reason I take it off while it's tacky is because the ridges where all of these stencils are, they flatten down a little bit. If you wait till it's completely dry, which is a good idea, but if you wait till it's completely dry, when you peel the stencils off, you have a ridge where you can kind of catch your fingernail on. I do it this way because it has smoother ridges and it looks a little better in my opinion. But let's get going. Take your time. We got all day. Okay. Hold tight right there. I'm just gonna yank that right off. I don't want that touching anything. Looks great. It's fine. What's the matter? And there it is. That looks great. Okay, let's do the other side. Okay, let's start the second side. Now, if you have a more complex stencil, I suggest you wait till it's completely dry, no matter what. But if it's a simple stencil, I just take it off tacky. I'm going to yank that off again. I don't like it there. Okay. Beautiful. Looks like I got to do a little touch up on the white. No biggie. Oh, don't rush it. There we go. Now, I see the stencil took off. See that little spot right there? So I'm going to have to touch that up with a brush. But, no biggie. Looking good. Okay, I went around with a little bit of white spray paint and a little brush. And I touched up some little spots that the stencil actually ripped off. Some little tiny areas. Like, for example, right here, I had to touch that up. But, yeah, looks great, man. Looks great. Well, stay tuned for part 3. And that's going to be the next color. And probably going to have a part 4 where we're going to do the black in here. Now, so far I have sanded, and first off I rolled black onto the front. Then I sanded it. And I'm probably going to do one more final sand, and then we're going to go ahead and do the black, and then we're going to do the stencils. And then I'm going to have to bring it back to the paint booth because I used a special kind of paint that I sprayed on in the first video. Because some of these colors in here are mustard, burger time mustard orange. So yeah, that's going to be the burger and stuff. But hey guys, I hope you like the better camera. I know the first video was terrible. I was using my cell phone, and what I did was I used an option on YouTube called image stabilization because I had a shaky camera, and it was terrible. I mean, it made the whole video very choppy, and I'm disappointed with the quality of that video. But hopefully this video is better. But hey, subscribe!